But I want to sing. No
No,
singing.
no singing. It's time for us to go live, Mike.
They told me I should build a castle here. So I built a castle there and it sunk into the mud. So I built another castle and it sunk into the mud too.
So what'd you do then?
I built a third castle.
And?
It didn't sink.
Excellent. I think we're live.
Are we live? Hello. Hey, come on. Yeah.
Hello.
Give me your Robin Williams there, buddy. Hello.
Hello.
This is Doubtfire. There it is. I knew it came to me. All right, I'm assuming we're on. Okay, sounds like...
Sound is great, says Dave Rush.
Sounds like an iceberg scraping its way along the length of a burning luxury liner. That doesn't sound like great sound to me. That sounds like bad sound. Hi. Hello, everyone. It's Mike Meyers and Scott Jernigan here on the Monday edition of the Mike Meyers live stream. Ask Mike Anything. Wednesday. I'm at that part in my life where the calendar goes flip, 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 flip.
Yeah. I'm with you. So, sorry, I interrupted you.
Well, a worthy thing to interrupt me. Let's just make it the Monday edition anyway.
We'll make it the
And then
Monday
next week
part
we'll
two.
have 2 Wednesdays or something.
Yeah, Monday part 2.
I have a sense that I can control time. Anyway, everyone, welcome again to the Mike Meyers live stream. The goal of this live stream is to provide those of us who are isolated by the coronavirus an opportunity to continue our studies on CompTIA certifications. This starts at 2 o'clock Central Daylight Time and runs till 4 o'clock Central Daylight Time, or until the questions run out. Either way is just as long as we're making sure we're getting your questions answered. To answer questions, all you have to do is type them into the chat window here. Hold on.
Number having some kind of weird background noise.
There. Bad static check.
So this is me talking. Wow, it's still really hot. That's very strange. We're not making noise. Okay. And this is me talking. Getting slightly louder, slightly louder. Troubleshooting a little bit. Sorry, bear with us, folks. Worst case scenario.
I'll just lean over here to talk into Scott's microphone.
Or I'll just hand Mike my microphone, since he's the star. That'll work too.
Why is this happening to me? No, don't do that. Please don't do that. Please don't do that.
Did you just plug back in?
I've been plugged back in for a moment. What I don't want is to have these god-awful
Spikes.
spikes. Hello? Hello? Like that one?
What the heck?
I don't know. Go ahead and tell him stuff, Scott.
Oh, okay. I'll tell him stuff, since my microphone seems to be working. So we're here, in case, for those of you who are locked down for the international pandemic and are studying for CompTIA exams, this is a great way to have you ask us questions. And we provide, and I keep looking over at the microphone settings, of course, taking my eyes off the camera. Sorry. We specialize in CompTIA certifications such as IT Fundamentals, A+, Network Plus, and Security Plus, but we certainly can go beyond that and even farther afield. So it's an Ask Me Anything, and that pretty much goes, stay away from politics and religion. We're more than happy to talk about that stuff on Discord after the show, but we're keeping it PG and mellow here on this afternoon.
Because I know you guys are cool, but it's a few of those, Tolowit, we got to be nice. He's a sensitive flower.
Dying in the desert.
Dying in the look at you, Star Trek quote. All right.
All right, hopefully that's got the sound covered. I'm still a little hot, but that's okay.
All the girls say you're a little hot.
Ooh, my. Hey, our friend Jose Braden just popped in. How you doing? Good to see you.
You still owe me $3.
It's okay. You owe him like 300.
Oh, God, David Mohan. Step 2, identify probable cause.
It just spiked again.
Well, one little spike's okay.
Maybe when you clapped your hand. Yeah, okay.
Okay,
Don't do that again.
What is the sound of one hand clapping? Do a koan, man. Come on, we can do this. All right, let's talk, man. Okay, first of all, I see lots of nice, happy new faces in here. Always glad to see that. Oh, static. Oh, God. Static. Oh, God. Man, if this is an interesting... Are you still messing with your stuff?
I'm messing with my stuff because Dave says your sound is coming through my mic and you sound like very distant.
Yeah, please don't. You're the only sound we have right now, Scott.
I know.
So if you unplug that, then we have no sound.
Okay.
So if I sound a little distant, then that's okay.
We'll just get closer.
There, all right. Okay, so sorry about that, guys. I think we got everything up and working. Hey, man, come on. Let's look good. OB1 just got worse. Okay, so guys, a couple of things. Number one, please, when you're asking questions, make sure to just type them into the chat window, and that's how Scott and I can answer them. Equally, if you're the shyer type and you would prefer to not text in here, if you want to, just send me an email. My email is michaelm@totalsem.com. If you're a gamer, I'm Senior Pepe. And otherwise, I'm Desweds at just about anything you could possibly imagine. So these are all good ways to get a hold of me. So if you've got a more involved question, feel free to just send it via email. It just reminds me I haven't checked my email today. Oops.
Oops. All right, well, you're checking your email. I will see who's here. I think we'll have some of the usual suspects. Going all the way back. Tulowitz, Jason Helms, Alan Dugan. Chaco Taco, hello. Good to see you. Andre, my favorite Dutchman, his favorite Belgian. So there you go. Crazy Homebody Girl, good to see you. Patricia Grace, hey nerd, how are you? Dave Rush, senior instructor for Total Seminars and an all-round amazing guy, is working the background channel. So he's basically telling us when we're being dumb or whatever, and also checking for spammers and providing timely information as needed. So that's Dave Rush. And on Fridays, by the way, Dave Rush has his own 2-hour show on the Total Seminars channel. It's called Drama. It's the Dave Rush Ask Me Anything, and it's fun, filled with lots of good Linux stuff and Raspberry Pis. So join us at 2 o'clock Central Time on Friday for the Dave Rush Ask Me Anything. So who else is here? William Jeske is here.
I saw a lot of new names in here. Where'd they go?
OB1, I'm still at like 2 o'clock. Kevin Lopez, David Mohan, Ardeen, Al Mulford. Hey, Al. Good to see you.
Which Al?
Al Mulford.
Al Mulford's here?
Yeah, your brother-in-law.
Oh, well, wait a minute. You didn't tell me Al was on.
I just did. Jose Braden, yeah. So, yeah, it's the Taylor Oaks RV Park in Rockport, Texas.
Yeah, man.
Where the fishing is fine, and the people who run it are even better.
Finer. Absolutely.
Okay. And I just super scrolled. So who knows what happened between 2:01 and...
Oh my God, we've even got people giving us instructions. Tolowit at 2:04. Change the mic battery.
Yeah, we checked that.
First thing, we've learned this one, yeah.
Yeah,
Lummy, Mike, you want to play Counter-Strike Go with me sometimes? Lummy, I'll play Counter-Strike Go. I've got all the games. I don't have the fast twitch muscles I used to have.
You're great.
Terrorists win. Yeah, Lummy, just here, one more time, man. Just look me up on
Steam.
Steam. I'm Senior Pepe on Steam, and I'm always up for a game or another. So yeah, sure. Let's do some Counter-Strike. We're having a lot of trouble getting people to play World of Warcraft with us, Scott.
Yep, it's true.
You, me, and Tolowit and
Obi-Wan.
Obi-Wan was the other one who's playing. Yeah. So heck, even the four of us haven't even got together to play World of Warcraft, but we'll get there. Lummy, do you guys have a Discord server? Has Lummy's question been answered?
Not yet.
At 207?
Not yet.
Do you have that?
We don't have a Discord server.
Go ahead.
But our friend Jose Braden does, and it's called the Unofficial Total Seminars channel. Dave Rush will post the link, if he hasn't already, to the Discord channel. We often get on there after our AMAs, and people are on there all the time. Well over 300 people on our Discord channel, and it's a definitely cool place for asking questions, having good conversations, and Dave posted that link at 2:10, so you can scroll up a little bit in the chat and find our Discord channel. Welcome to you are more than welcome to join.
And Daily IT Solutions. Hello, Daily IT Solutions. Tell them stuff. Haha, they like that. So.
Tell them stuff? That's Siegfried, by the way.
Oh, is that Siegfried?
Yeah, he's
Siegfried,
at work.
what are you doing to me, man?
He's at work.
So we had, when the mic went down?
Yeah.
Okay, there we go. So I want to play Counter-Strike Go now. These guys, Lummy and Peksol.
E. White, Scott, did you document your findings? You don't want anybody taking credit for your work. Choco Taco, of course, had the best line. Oh, no, Mike. No touchy the thingy.
Don't touchy the thing. I don't know. I'm going to give it to David Mohan. I think he started the whole diagnostic thread thing.
It's pretty good.
I'm going to give it to him. I mean, I got to be nice to David because we're probably going to cut him off from winning anything for a while. David, we're just going to give you like this huge gold star, and every time we start having another competition, we'll just go,
Right.
Just for
right. So Peaksall, the Discord link, it always says it's expired. Just click on it anyway, and it'll take you there. I have no idea why. Every Discord thing I've ever joined has been expired. Go figure.
So I was trying to figure out how you do Daily IT Solutions with Siegfried, and at 2:05 you just straight up told us.
Yeah.
Alex Norton's here. Choco Taco. No touchy the thingy. Yeah, I see it. Ulysses Ferrer, man. Where have you been, young man? Ulysses, they got a new version of Windows coming.
Theoretically. Allegedly.
No, I finished the article. Who turned me on to that? Yes, it was on Monday.
It was on Monday.
I forgot who turned me on to that. And again, thank you. Yeah, we got another Windows coming, man. Who'd have thunk it? Siegfried's going to be on WoW later this evening after work. I have to get a certain amount of Chapter 15 done before Scott will stop guilting me, but I will. But let's game tonight. Come on, let's do some World of Warcraft. Let us frolic among the...
I'm hosting a Zoom for my mother's 81st birthday.
Please tell your sainted mother, happy birthday.
I will. Okay. How about this one? Here's a question for you.
We have a question now?
We do. By the way, we run until 4 o'clock Central Daylight Savings Time or until the questions run out. So far, the questions have been light, which is understandable since we're troubleshooting for the first couple minutes here. But there you go. At 2:12, David Mohan. Which is a better device hardening?
I got it. Device hardening which is a better device hardening action? A, updating firmware, or B, changing default password. If you had to pick one, I would change the default password because there are entire websites that are just, what are the default passwords for every make and model of everything?
Right.
And if you're still using the default password, you're guaranteed that someone's going to get in. In terms of updating firmware, which is, again, David, very important, but not all devices need their firmware updated as often as one might think. For example, I don't automatically update any firmware, whether it be system on a desktop system or a laptop. I'm not going to do those automatically. About the only ones I do automatically without thinking is for smart devices. So whatever Samsung is pushing down this week, or Google, depending on which phone it is,
Right.
I just blindly accept those. Which is, I've got many stories where blindly accepting firmware updates was not necessarily the smartest idea one's ever had, and I've turned more than one system into an ashtray by doing that. But I would go with changing the default password.
Sure. Agree completely. Uh-oh.
That's right, Lisa's Ferrier, man, he's been working. Yeah. Got a weird schedule. Nothing wrong with the weird schedule, Lisa, as long as it's making money. Daily IT Solutions, Chapter 15, for what exactly, Mike? I guess there's no secret about that. Network Plus.
Yeah, we're writing the new Network Plus book for the N10008, and we still can't tell you anything that's on the objectives, which is weird. I'm not sure when they're going to release them to the public, unless maybe they release them this week. I didn't look.
I haven't heard anything.
Okay. Jason Helms, way back at 207, asked, that saying, D for diploma, I'm officially A+ certified. Woohoo!
Well done,
Yay, Jason. That's awesome. Congratulations. We had total faith in you. Total. That's the name of the company.
Okay, so wait, 207, Jason Helms. Hey, at Mike and Scott Jernigan.
I just did this one.
Is that what you just did?
I just did.
What? That's saying D for diploma? Oh, that's, okay, I got it. Yeah. Okay.
I jumped back because he was like, did you miss my comment?
Yeah, all right, we're good, we're good, we're good. Siegfried, I love that name. Did you ever watch an old British television show called All Creatures Great and Small?
Go ahead, answer that question for me.
No, Scott hasn't. Because he was busy, reading, Hamlet in the original Klingon. Here, the funny part is you could do that with a straight face, and everybody's like, wow.
The Klingon, the original Klingon.
I actually can speak in Klingon. You ready?
I'm ready.
This is all I know in Klingon. Ready?
I'm ready.
Jaw talk, which means switch to tactical.
I like it.
That's all I got.
That's all you got.
That's
Okay.
all I got.
Well, hey.
Lemmy took off work today just to watch.
Right? Alex just showed up too.
Question.
Yeah, no question. Oh, here's one from David Mahan at 216. If you had an incorrect antenna type, does that mean you have no internet connection or intermittent connection?
Well, usually the biggest problem you have when you have the wrong antenna type, you're not going to have as much signal as you want. So most 802.11 connections will drop down. It will negotiate for a lower speed. And okay, I can just lean over.
Yeah, no problem. I just was going to cough.
Oh, is that what it's all about?
Yeah.
So let's say you've got two devices that are trying to talk on 802.11, and if they're not having a good connection, and that's what the antenna does. The antenna provides a more clear Fresnel lens between the two devices, and if that doesn't appear, the first thing they'll do is start dropping down their speeds. So you can still have like a 802.11 AC connection, but they'll negotiate for slower and slower speeds. So in general, the wrong antennas, while it could certainly point at no connection whatsoever, so keep in mind, if you have a connection, you'll probably have an internet connection, right? Because you're connected into a wireless router or something. Mm-hmm. So if you have any amount of connection, that wireless router's on the internet, so you're on the internet. So what I'd rather do, David, is dump the internet connection and just say wireless connection. Does that mean you have a wireless connection or an intermittent wireless connection? And the answer is neither. You probably just have a slow connection. and especially if you've got some new fancy 4x4 802.11ax setup, and you're just barely plopping along, it might be, you might want to consider. But to be honest with you, for most people, there's lots of little wireless tools that you can put on your phone. They have them on Apple's too, right? Surely they do.
What, add-ons?
No, applications to allow you to check your wireless connection. Sure. Yes.
Yes, sort of.
Okay. All I'm trying to say is that for the most part, if you're getting 3+ bars, even though that bar measurement's a relative thing, it's not like some rule set that says if you show 3 bars, you have this amount of decibel loss or whatever it might be. But because it's a relative thing, it's a pretty good gauge, and you don't need a lot more. I have all these wonderful tools, but to be honest with you, even just grab an SSID and look at your relative signal strength. And if you're getting 3 bars or more, you're going to be probably at full speed. Probably at full speed.
All right, cool. So Alan Duggan is starting the new Security Plus 601 module next month.
Excellent.
You have the 501 study guide. You probably need the 601, just saying. Does it make a difference to use this book, or do I have to update the book? The latter. For real.
Yeah, there's a big jump between the 501 and the 601. Oh my God, William Jeske got a totally... Remember I was talking about Siegfried?
Mm-hmm.
He mentions, where'd it go? Peter Davidson, the Fifth Doctor, which is... the
Doctor Who?
Peter Davidson, who played the Fifth Doctor, who was also Siegfried, not Siegfried, it was... I forgot the 2 brothers' names in All Creatures Great and Small. How many Wagnerian names are there? Somebody's probably already typed it already.
I don't know.
Someone will get it in there. Yeah. Siegfried and... this is driving me insane. All right, moving on. But anyway, William Jeske at least was there for it.
Good, good.
Moving right along, love. Do we just have a slow day today?
We have a very slow day today.
Huh? It happens sometimes. Isaac Alexis, have you ever seen the old TV show Get Smart? Oh, God, yes. Yes, Isaac, I have. Missed him by that much. Agent 99 and
Absolutely.
the shoe phone?
Sure, yeah,
Okay.
no, I got it. Get Smart. I actually watched that as a kid.
Yeah, and guys, I'll be on the Discord channel today after this, so
Okay.
I'll be on as well.
Yes, Alice. He wishes for questions.
Oh, God.
Come on. Hit us with some Security Plus stuff.
So, well,
It'll
I'll
be
tell
fun.
you what, Al, nobody feel obligated to give me questions. If we're done, we're done. I do want to talk about business impact analysis. Andrew Hutz had some questions about that on Monday. So I would like to talk about that. And we're going to have to ask David Mohan, what's his weakest topic?
And what I'll do is hand you the mic for your presentation, so you've got full volume.
All right. I mean, they can hear me like this, and other than, it looks like we're very close.
We are close.
We're very close.
Those of you who arrived late, you missed the static-filled opening where Mike's microphone decided to explode. So, yeah.
Actually, hang on, guys. It might happen again. Let's see what happens. Check one. Check one. Check one. All right, so Scott, just if that goes red again, this knob has to be turned all the way down quite quickly.
Okay.
All right, let's see what happens.
All right.
Check one.
Whoop.
Check one. All right. I feel lucky. I feel lucky, punk.
Okay.
All right.
I'll be staring over here at this screen the whole time.
Andrew Hutz is at a red light. No. Adiva 75. What test bundles are discounted? Adiva 75. We sell all of our vouchers are. It's about a 10% discount because that's pretty much all the discount we get. CompTIA keeps all this money, so we give ourselves a tiny little. It's like our lowest profitability product there is, but it's about a 10%, and it's What test bundles are discounted? All of them are discounted. David Mohan. TLS SSL layer 4? Sure. Yes, layer 4. Andrew Hutz is here to listen to the little presentation. I got to tell you, you guys are going to be very interested in this presentation.
Driving on. He's on his way home, so he's listening probably on his phone.
Excellent.
With dedication.
The man's serious about his art.
He is.
This is very good coffee today, isn't it?
Delicious.
Kroger's, the richest kind. Who was the old commercial? The guy with hand picking the coffee beans with his mule? Juan Valdez, Folgers.
Right.
Fox 21. Hey, good to see you again, man. Hang on. Hold on. 224, David Mohan. Is PRI linked with T1E1? God, David, the reason I'm sighing a little bit is because we're literally
deleting them as we speak.
Deleting all this, the whole concept of...
But it's still on.
It's on the current Network Plus.
Yes.
It is on the current Network Plus. So, yes, PRI is linked with... PRI is just the primary interface, which is a 64K signal. So, for example, ISDN can be up to 2 PRIs, right? And a T1 is, I don't even remember anymore, 72 PRIs?
Not that high.
27. Dave Rush will type it here in a minute.
he's typing.
Why bother memorizing anything? Dave Rush here. We should have like Dave Rush's scrolling it in the corner so people can be like, well, Mike doesn't know. What does Dave Rush have to say on that one?
So 224, Fox 21 says, do you recommend an antivirus or is Windows 10 Defender good enough?
I've been using nothing but Windows 10 Defender unless I have a serious problem, something that makes me worrisome.
And then you download malware bytes. But yeah, I use nothing but Windows Defender.
I got to tell you,
even on my Apple computers.
Just careful avoiding of clicking these days, primarily from email, which tells us that the scammers have discovered there's enough idiots out there that they don't have to be that clever anymore, right?
Right.
You know. So I just use the built-in Windows Defender now, Fox 21, and I have not run into problems like that. David Mohan, does Ldap S require authentication? Yes, that's why it's secure, Ldap. But keep in mind, David, that even regular Ldap has an authentication aspect to it. The problem is regular Ldap is, in essence, it's not a secure protocol. But they both require authentication, absolutely. Lummy, so running RAID 0 on 2 hard drives gives this is 225, Scott. So running RAID 0 on 2 drives gives a benefit of speed, yes. SSDs are faster than hard drives. So would RAID 0 on SSDs like collapse the universe?
Yes.
Yeah, do not cross the streams. Important safety tip.
So drives are so fast these days that Tom's Hardware, it's been a couple of years at this point, but did a test between RAID 0 and RAID 1. So straight up mirroring, and it would stand logical reason. It certainly was in the old days when we were talking about ancient SCSI drives and stuff, that RAID 0 was noticeably faster than RAID 1. But on modern drives, they found almost no difference. So you give up any kind of redundancy by going to RAID 0, and there's no real benefit. Go figure.
David Thrower, would you put all IoTs on a separate subnet if you have questionable brands? I wouldn't. Let's ignore the word questionable brands for a minute, David. I gotta think about that for a minute. Here in my house, I do not keep my IoT devices on a separate subnet. I think I'm pretty common for most folks. You do keep in mind that most IoT devices aren't going to work well unless they can phone home. My Nest thermostats, for example, really don't like it when the internet goes down. And Nest thermostats kind of get a little crabby. They'll still work, but you have to physically go to the devices to adjust temperature. Isn't that crazy?
That is crazy.
If they can't phone home. So in general, if you've got IoT devices, they're probably going to want to phone home to some extent. Now, what does that extent include? Who knows? Can we set up a separate subnet and then do some inter-VLAN routing? And even on a home router, we sure could. Absolutely doable. What I've discovered is that the more IoT you put in your life, the more you find yourself manipulating it. Now, this might be because I'm a nerd and I just like putting a screwdriver to things, but I'm constantly geeking with my IoT devices. In particular, I have a lot of security cameras, and I just like playing with them, mainly because it's the software interfaces. I mean, so there's only two things you want a camera to do, right, Scott? I mean, I keep upstairs on my main computer, there's a screen, a small screen, where I can click between all my cameras very, very quickly.
Okay.
Now, if I wanted to, there's also, you could rotate them and do all, just 8 ways a Sunday.
Right, sure.
But there's only 2 cameras I really like to monitor, the front of my house and the back of my house. Not too worried about what's happening in the middle of my house, generally. But it's just interesting because all the different types of software that I can use for recording video, I still haven't found anything that I can record to the cloud that I trust. So I'm still recording everything locally. There's plenty of people who record to the cloud, I just don't trust them and what they do with that at all. So, would I put it on a separate subnet? Probably not, because I don't anticipate that it would do that much good for me. And I have enough rudimentary IDS, IPS, even here in the house, to be able to monitor stuff. And more than that, this is a big one here. I'm really going to kind of get on my soapbox a little bit. And that is, people don't monitor their home networks very well. And they don't take the time to do just even rudimentary, I'm not talking anything too hairy here, but just put Wireshark up on your router every now and then and take a look at what's going on. Yeah, I mean, you're not going to be able to recognize even 1% of what's going on, but you can poke around a little bit and you can get some real good ideas about who's calling what. The other thing that I'm going to get mad about is that people don't document their home networks very well. We do so good, and we got all this A+ and Net+ thing about network diagrams, right, and all that.
Right, sure.
Do you have your network at home diagrammed at all? Seriously?
Of course, Mike.
Oh, God. Right.
Why wouldn't I?
Well, I do.
No,
like, for example, I have just a little Word document that documents all my different IP addresses. In my universe, the only thing that gets DHCP are going to be mobile devices, the occasional desktop, but pretty much everything else gets a static IP. My printers have static IP, my cameras have static IP, my servers have static IP, all my managed devices have static IPs, and I just write them down. I mean, it's not that big of a deal. I'll be able to document those. Document the IP address and the MAC address. Document both of those. The reason you're going to want to do that is one of these days you're going to fire up Wireshark and you're going to put it on the WAN side of your router, which is actually really easy to do with the switch. Or with my AT&T, it actually has a management port, which makes that easier. And a lot of times, you'll see stuff phoning home, and you're like, what IP is this? If you have an easy, convenient document that you can look at, you'll go, that's one of my roller disco fly fishing cards, or whatever it is. And it allows you to zero in on stuff very, very quickly. I'm done.
Okay.
No static at all. FM. Okay. David Mohan, is PRI linked with T1E1? Yes, we've covered that one. Fox 21, 224. Do you recommend an we got that one covered. Look at us moving it.
Right.
Oh, we got a diva excited about something there.
Malware Bytes.
Malware Bytes is good. I got no problem.
It is good. And Ulysses was not here on Monday when we talked about Windows 11, so why don't you answer that question? What do you think about Windows 11?
We just learned about, actually, you guys told us about it on Monday, and I've read like 2 articles, and mainly everything they're all talking about is
interface.
Right.
I haven't really heard anything interesting.
Right. It's a couple of years from now before they're going to bring it out, so we don't know.
It's been a while. I mean, there used to be a lot of sizzle when a new Microsoft operating system would pop up. You know, come on.
Come on, especially that Windows ME.
So the one that I remember was Windows 8. And when Windows 8 popped, you know, the whole Metro desktop and all that stuff, and everybody's getting so excited, and suddenly I realized there was no desktop anymore.
Yeah, no,
and you're like, what was it, 4 months later, 8.1 came out?
Yeah, very
Something
quickly.
very quickly like that. Yeah.
Yep.
We don't know anything about Windows 11 yet, but we'll be there as we get more information. MyWin, do you have any discount for the A+ practice test? MyWin, we do not have any discounts right now. We are battling our marketing department. We've been doing discounts for months, and it was fun. And to be honest with you, we're making a little bit of money on it too. Not much, you know, pay the rent. And because of a contract we have with a particular organization, we were told that we can't sell things that cheap. Really.
So we do contests and give them away.
Yeah, so we give them away in contests. So MyWin, stick around.
We'll teach those marketing people.
David Mohan promises to do the next competition with one arm tied behind his back. Just as a...
Speaking of David Mohan,
Yes?
2:30, if a firewall administrator is implementing a rule that directs HTTP traffic to an internal server listening on a non-standard socket.
Wait, I'm sorry, I was...
2:30.
The Choco Taco. Do you guys remember the awkward Folgers Christmas commercial? Yes, I do. Okay, so now I'm back.
All right, firewall administrator implementing a rule.
May I see the question? Where is it?
2:30. It's long.
Okay, if a firewall administrator is implementing a rule that directs HTTP traffic to an internal server listening on a non-standard socket, which of the rules should be used? Oh dear. David, I want to hang out with you, man. Pop a couple of beers. And just because I can tell by the way you ask questions, it's fascinating to me. If a firewall administrator is implementing a rule that directs HTTP traffic to an internal server listening on a non-standard socket, which of the rules should be used? I would say it'd be port forwarding, not necessarily
PAT, NAT, or DNAT. I mean, port forwarding. It's kind of a...
Well, it's PAT because it's port address translation, right? Because it's using a non-standard port number. And I'm assuming this is a listening device inside the network, right?
But, I mean, I think your initial answer I mean, port forwarding is just how most NAT is implemented,
Yeah,
right?
Yeah, so...
But that's not the same thing as what he's asking.
So what is he asking then?
An internal HTTP server running on a non-standard socket. That's port forwarding.
It's port forwarding.
Yeah, not PAT.
Port forwarding and PAT are technically the same thing. Now, this is one of these things where I just don't, all right? We're going to get in a fist fight over this, and we don't need to. Port address translation. It takes the port address and then translate it, and the box, the port forwarding box, memorizes the socket, which would be the IP address of the port number. So technically it's PAT, although honestly, David, answering questions like that means that you're technically correct.
But you have no friends.
But you have no friends, so I would go with that. Fascinating question though, gosh, David. Tolowit, do you have any PCs running Windows Insider Preview? You know what? I've turned it off on all my devices. This is where I lean on poor Michael Smyer so much, because I know Michael runs it, and he's pretty good about letting us know about interesting things. So we'll see. Patricia Grace back at 228. I think I'm moving all my devices to Linux before 2025. I'd have moved to Linux years ago if it hadn't have been for two things: Microsoft Word and gaming. Those are the two things that keep me around.
They've ported Civ 6 to Linux now. He didn't bite. All right, so Alex asks at 2:31, can you explain data execution prevention?
Sure. So if you go back to the old days of CPUs, your CPU operated on what were known as ring levels, and different ring levels would give certain code control over aspects of memory and how it could deal with that memory. Now, there's actually 4 ring levels that are built into Intel processors, but it's up to the operating system to take advantage of these.
Okay.
So with Windows, Microsoft chose a long time ago, this actually goes back to Windows NT, they chose to use either ring level 0 or ring level 3. So there's 1 and 2 in there, and they ignore that. So pretty much the operating system itself runs at ring level 0, and then individual applications run at ring level 3. Bottom line is that individual applications cannot stomp on other applications' pages, which is a good thing.
Right.
Okay. However, there were, what's the word I'm looking for? Exploits that were developed, this is over 10 years ago, where ring level 3 applications could start stomping on other people's pages and causing naughtiness to happen. So DEP was invented by Intel a long time ago as a way to lock individual pages. In order to take advantage of DEP, you pretty much just have to have an operating system that's aware of it and has to be turned on. All operating systems have been aware of it for over a decade, and all operating systems have DEP turned on automatically.
Right.
And it's really yet another one of those things that was a cool conversation, but is now
It's just automatic.
just automatic and transparent, and we don't even see it anymore.
So at 2:32, a very different question from Alex. Is bluejacking dangerous?
To whom?
The jacked, I assume.
Well, sure. Back in, here I'll date myself again. Back in the like Bluetooth 1.x days, this is a funny story. It's funny to me. I worry it's not funny to anyone else.
We'll find out.
What?
I said we'll find out.
Yeah. Sorry. The bottom line is that like I went to a baseball game at here in Houston, Texas, at what was back then called Enron Field. And we were just starting to see a lot of these phones that had Bluetooth functionality built into it. So this is very early Bluetooth. And, you know, here I am admitting, well, now it's a felony. I don't know what it was back then. And I would just start launching into people's phones and set up pairing, right? This is before the 4-digit code, okay? And we just used to have the most fun, you know. And I would have like this bodega somewhere in Nigeria, and I would dial it. And the guy would get very upset. Why are you calling me?
What is that noise in the background?
What? Hello. Bluejacking's a lot harder to do today. I'm not aware of any Bluetooth active attacks that are going on right now. That doesn't mean they're not there. That just means that I haven't been looking at Bluetooth as a attack vector in a long time. But sure, it can always be a problem.
Okay, Ulysses Ferrer
Ferrer.
asks, Mike, how do you monitor your network? What tools do you use, I'm assuming?
So, my home network?
Do you have another?
The office network, which we have lots of, you know, wonderful toys in there. You have to, what does monitoring mean, right? So, at home, my only substantial concern is outgoing telemetry. That's my big fear. I'm not so worried about malware in concept. It's hard to catch me in malware because good training. It just doesn't happen. And I'm swamped. You know, I get 400 emails a day, more than that, and I'd say 10% of them are either phishing or something like that. But it's pretty obvious. So at home, I pretty much all my monitoring is manual and almost exclusively in Wireshark. The other monitoring I'll do is that my edge router, which is from AT&T, it's a fiber optic router, has some syslog features that I will use there. But mainly, again, what I'm looking for is telemetry. I'm looking for big spikes in outbound data. That's my concern. I'm infatuated and obsessed with what people are trying to learn about me. So, like one of these days, I'm going to start grabbing all this Nest telemetry. Nest outputs a tremendous amount of telemetry, and just see what are they really asking, because a lot of it is not encoded. It's what do they call that? It's not encoded, but it's so simplistic that you don't really even know what the data is. You would have to know how they are interpreting it, because at the third byte it's a one what. So I don't have specific tool sets that I use other than stuff that's built into a lot of it. I am running some SNMP, but even that's run raw. I look at SNMP data raw. I don't like charts. I don't like graphs.
Mm-hmm. So at 2:39, Alex, if I missed your question, by the way, that's why I'm telling the timestamps that you can turn on by clicking on the 3 little dots in the top right corner of the chat. Oh, good Lord, I've had top chat on. Other people have been saying stuff, and I haven't seen it. You can turn on the timestamp, and then you'll know precisely where we are in the feed. We're always a little behind the end of the feed. So at 2:39, so if we skip your question, just ask it again. Perfectly fine, okay? Alex asks, what are the characteristics of a transparent proxy?
All right, so I call a transparent proxy a forward proxy. To me, they're the same thing. It's a box that's sitting on your network someplace, and all of your outgoing data goes through this proxy. Transparent proxies are good for filtering, they're good for caching, and things like that. Anytime you want to control what people are looking at, transparent proxies are the way to go. The thing to remember about a transparent proxy, unlike a reverse proxy, well, I'm not going to say it, I was about to lie. The thing to remember about a transparent proxy is that your applications have to be programmed to use it. So like, for example, in your browser, you have to type in what your proxy server is and what its port number is.
Okay.
So a lot of people are like, well, I just won't type that in. It's like, okay, well, your outbound router is designed to block all outgoing, say, port 80. Let's keep it simple for a minute. So your outbound router is designed to block all outgoing port 80 unless it comes through the transparent proxy. So that's all it is.
Okay.
Same animal. It's a good old proxy server we've done. Wingate. Remember all those old proxy servers? Yeah. There's Wingate still around.
So while you were talking about bluejacking, Andrew Hutz was regaling us with stories of some of his recent hacks. Root access to a VM via remote buffer overflow, for example. Forced one through an outdated Samba. Take that, port 139. Geek humor is the best humor.
It is, especially when it comes.
So at 2:39, this is a good question. Jason Helms, all questions are good questions, by the way. I didn't mean it quite like that. Jason Helms asks, I'm trying to judge how much time I might have for Network Plus. 6 to 8 months before it retires. That's a statement, but it could be a question. Debating whether to go ahead and start or wait for the new material. Yeah. I can't tell you precisely when CompTIA is releasing the new Network Plus exam, but yeah, 6 months after that is when it'll retire, if they stay true to form. Sometime early fall is our best guess.
Yeah, that's our best guess.
When the new exam, so yeah, you got about probably 8 months. That's, unless your study time is really limited, that's a pretty serious chunk of time. And by, as Mike has often said, by taking the older exam, not the newest one, you get the benefit of all of the, we all know the questions now. So we can talk about, I can't share precise questions, but we can certainly talk about the stuff you need to know. And we and our competitors have continued to develop Network Plus throughout the cycle of the current exam. So
Absolutely.
taking the old exam, if you can fit that in the next 8 months, is preferable to waiting for the new one.
Yeah, you always want to take the older exam whenever possible. Whenever possible. It's, people are like, well, if this is the latest exam, therefore I must take the latest exam. Absolutely not. When you're going in for your interviews and things like that, people are going to ask you, what version of Network Plus did you take? They'll usually want to know what date you took it as a relative time frame in case it was 10 years ago, but no.
Right, because the key is when you get the job, you'll get additional training on the specifics they want you to have.
Absolutely.
So just having the kind of background and the knowledge, the base knowledge, whether you took 007 or 008, the basics are the same. So David Mohan asked a question at 2:41, and I'm going to answer it. Is standard operating procedures and work instructions the same thing? According to the research we just did after looking at your question, the Cert Blaster website that posts that question says, yeah, they're the same thing.
David, we busted you. You're giving us Cert Blaster questions. Okay. All right.
But
David, you are welcome to do that.
Legit.
I will give you my best impression of what the answers are, or anybody else will.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean that we're necessarily looking for what Cert Blaster. David, go out and get Transcender or somebody who's got good questions.
That's true.
That would explain some of his more interesting questions now.
Yes.
David, it's good though. You feel free if you want to keep asking us Cert Blaster questions. Go right ahead, my friend. It is
Absolutely,
not a problem.
absolutely.
Not a problem.
So at 2:44, 2:43, Tellowit, really? Is that Steely Dan?
No static at all.
2:44, Alexander, Alter Ego. I'm just going to go ahead and do the soapbox on, because that's what's about to happen. How big is the chance of landing a job in IT with A+, Net+, and Security Plus at a later age? 40. With no experience. I got A+ and Network Plus so far. I assume you're currently working on Security Plus.
It's 100%.
There you go.
Alexander, I don't know where you live. I mean, when I meet people who don't get jobs, most of the time, first of all, you don't need any certifications to get a job. Certifications help get your foot in the door. That's all they do. Certifications put your name at the top of a stack. But you don't need any certifications, really. People are always like, wow, what does that mean? It's like, just get a job. When people tell me they can't get a job, most of the time it runs into one of these things. A, they've got physical limitations. They can't lift 25 pounds, something like that. B, they live in some little tiny town, and it's pretty much impossible for them to get out of that town and go to the places where the jobs are. Number 3, they are retrainers who used to make $175,000 a year, and they want to go from that right back to, I could do maybe $110,000 a year. Well, that's just not going to happen in IT, not at first. Situations like that. But the answer is, Alexander, it's 100%. The chance of you getting a job in IT is 100%. I mean, assuming you possess bilateral symmetry and you can make eye contact and you're dependable and you have a car that'll get you to work every day, 100%.
There you
Absolutely.
go. Dave L. At 2:46.
Yes?
My glasses are off. Good evening, Mike. When will you start to teach us about Wireshark?
I've taught it a number of times.
Yeah, Dave posted a link right below it.
Yeah, I was going to say, we have, Dave L., we've got some great videos right here in the Total Seminars channel, and it's really Introduction to Wireshark, right at the very beginning. And it is a great video to watch, and you've got the link there from Dave Rush. Watch that link, please. And then, and that's just super basic stuff. I mean, super basic. And then once you've watched that, Dave L., come back here onto the AMA and ask questions and develop that. And I'm here for you.
Absolutely.
But the answer is we've already done it, and we'll do it more as needed.
So, a much more telling question here. comes from Donnie34. Hello, welcome. Hello, Mike. It's at 249. I was wondering, what's your favorite hat?
My favorite hat? I have a French Foreign Legion officer's keepee at the office.
That's down at the office, yeah.
That's rare. They're hard to find.
Sure.
Yeah. So
it's like it's a real one?
Yeah, it is.
That's very cool.
If you look on the inside, it's the haberdashers.
Nice.
And it's all in French. And yeah.
My favorite hat is leather.
Not a hat.
Leather and fur, handmade. Keeps me very warm while glamping.
Oh, yes. Trust me, I understand. You guys don't know. When you don't have hair, things like rain takes on a whole new level of experience. All right, so we're coming on to, it's coming on to 3 o'clock. Let's go ahead and talk about business impact analysis.
Oh, okay.
I think even if you're not interested in business impact analysis, there's a, what's the word I'm looking to use here? There is an aspect to how I develop topics as a trainer of IT topics that I think everybody's going to find absolutely fascinating. So let's go ahead and do it. Is that okay? Can we just
absolutely, yeah, jump in.
Yeah, let's do this right now. All right, so this is for my buddy Andrew Hutz. Had asked some questions on Monday about business impact analysis, and I think we're going to have a very interesting response for you there, buddy. So let's jump on that. So Scott, can you do that?
Do that little thing? Oh,
That
don't
little
push
thing?
that button.
Yeah, don't press. Are we in?
We're in.
All right. So let's just talk about business impact.
Do you want to be in the lower right? I mean, I can put you in the lower left.
No.
Or the upper right.
We're good. We're good. It's okay. Don't touch anything. Stop it.
I have buttons. I have buttons.
Stop it. All right. Okay, so what is a business impact analysis? So in a business impact analysis, some organization is going to have to go through some very distinct steps. Business impact analysis is when an organization identifies assets, determines their criticality to the organization, and the impact if those assets are lost. All right? So what do we have and how much are we going to cry if this individual asset is lost? And then as a result of that, it will prioritize them for restoration in the event of a disaster. All right? So this is all under this huge umbrella of risk management. And it's most commonly done on a per site basis. So you tend to do a business impact analysis on our office building or this manufacturing plant or some distinct site-based entity. So the problem is this is a huge topic. So, I mean, how do we know what to study? So the way we do this, folks, is we dive into the CompTIA objectives. Before I go any further, it's important for me to stress to you guys that number one, I love CompTIA. Number two, I hate CompTIA. And what it is I respect what CompTIA does as to be the entry-level certification body, vendor neutral. These are good and respectful things. The tests are pretty cheap compared to everybody else. I know you all complain about the price of CompTIA exams, but just go check out a CISSP or a CCIE exam or something like that, which is in the thousands of dollars. I think CompTIA relatively does a good job at trying to keep their costs relatively down. The problem that we run into, what did you just do? Am I still on?
Yeah, it has no effect yet.
Okay. The problem we run into is that CompTIA has many masters. And when they're developing like a Security Plus course, they're trying to figure out what do we put in this? So they go through these job task analysis, but the reality is that they solicit subject matter experts from the membership. Now you can't be an instructor or a developer of products, so me and Scott cannot be on this. But we know a lot of the people who are SMEs for most of the products. They get a whopping, what is it, $200 a day? I forget what it is. It's not much money. And these people all fly to Northern Illinois and develop questions. Different organizations have different motivations for putting certain questions and i.e. therefore objectives on CompTIA exams. And we see a little bit of a problem with this under business impact analysis. So let's take a look one more time at this. So what I want you to notice in particular, actually, I see what you're doing. All right. So I put a little bit of a yellow bar in there. So this is these are the Security Plus 601 objectives. Summarize risk management processes and concepts, 5.4. And underneath there, you'll see it says business impact analysis. CompTIA is literally telling us what aspects of BIA they want to cover. This is a good thing, okay? Business impact analysis is a massive topic. There are, graduate level programs on this for people getting their masters in IT security. And we have to try to figure out what they want. Now, in the past, CompTIA has been bad about this. Today, they're pretty good about it. So we take a look and we'll see, okay, well, what do they want to know? So as we take a look at this, we can see that it has a very specific group of things to discuss. So let's zero in on this a little bit, all right? So if one is comfortable with risk management, it's fairly easy to break this down into 3 functional groups. The first one is what I'm going to call a quantitative analysis. And that's basically stuff that has to do with, if we lose it, can we get a price? Can we put money or time to be able to predict a loss in it? So that's one thing. The second thing we do is, and it's all by itself here, it says site risk assessment. So remember I told you that business impact analysis is done on a site basis? So on a site-by-site basis, we look for things like single points of failure. Oh, that router right there is the only router. That could be an issue. Or we're looking for mission essential functions. We absolutely have got to have this particular application running because it's updating all the databases. And then last would be identification of critical systems, anything from air conditioning to, you could go nuts here in terms of what are the critical systems within an individual site. All right, then third is going to be functional recovery plans. Functional recovery plans are the actual documentation that we do when something bad happens. What is our plan for recovery? And interestingly enough, they've only listed one in there, which makes no sense to me whatsoever, disaster recovery plan. Well, I got a problem, Scott.
What's your problem, Mike?
Well, the problem is I know business impact analysis much more broadly than the few objectives that CompTIA puts into Security Plus. So what do I do? Well, here we go. So I got to make a choice. Number one, since the CompTIA objectives barely touch the concept of business impact analysis, do I, number one, just react to the listed objectives, even if that means ignoring what I think are critical aspects of business impact analysis, number one, or number two, do a full-blown proper coverage of business impact analysis, even though almost none of the subjects I'd want to cover would be on the exam. I must choose wisely. This is a big deal, guys, So basically, in this particular case, when it comes to business impact analysis, I'm totally selling out. I'm selling out.
Because, way to go, Mike.
Well, the amount of coverage I could write a 400-page book on business impact analysis alone, and I think it would be interesting. I do. So, but I want to be able to answer Andrew Hutt's. Remember, what are the 4 reasons we put anything into a book? Number one, it'll help you pass the exam. Number 2, it makes you good tech, right? Well, and then sometimes it's just like, ooh, it gets big. It just gets too big, and I have to compromise. So that's what I did here. All right, so now that we know that, let's break it down into those 3 pieces that we looked at. We're going to have site risk assessment, which is where you actually look at a site and determine what risks you have. Number 2, we're going to have quantitative analysis, mean time between failures, things like that. Which, you know what? Mean time between failures shouldn't even be under business impact. To me, it's a disaster It's a language. English is not my first language today. It's a incident response. But
right.
Whatever. That's me. Let's get back on this. And then functional recovery plan. So we can break everything you need to know about CompTIA's business impact analysis into these 3 subsets that Mike Meyers has come up with. Okay, so let's hit them. So site risk assessment. Number 1, identification of critical systems. And to me, the classic is always that one edge router that you have. Okay? You lose that edge router, there ain't no internet there today, right? So that is a critical system, and then we have to deal with that. So how do we deal with it? Well, there's a million ways to mitigate this. You can put in a secondary router, set up a secondary ISP, preferably from a completely different type of technology. 2 copper pipes coming in is probably going to be the same copper pipe, not that far upstream. It will be. You don't see it, but it is. So instead, let's just do a fiber and a copper, say, or something like that.
Yeah, at the office we have copper and cellular.
There you go.
Yeah.
And then also critical systems could be, a domain controller. It's your only domain. You don't have a backup domain controller. I mean, this can go on and on. All right. Mission essential functions, however, talk about things we do that are absolutely critical. It's hard to be able to come up with example mission critical functions unless you actually tell me what the mission is, and then I can come up with all kinds of examples of that.
Sure.
But things like backup are not mission essential. I mean, they're important, right? But as long as, knock on wood, nothing happens, we're okay, right? And then single point of failure. Single point of failure is, again, using that router, which seems to be the thing CompTIA likes to use a lot as an example. Okay. The next one is going to be quantitative analysis. Now, this is also interesting. This is one of the big differences between Security Plus 501 and 601, is that the amount of quantitative analysis we had in 501 was much greater than what we had in 601. Because really with 601, they broke it down to pretty much just 4 terms you need to memorize, and you're in good shape. And it's recovery time objective, recovery point objective, mean time to repair, and then mean time between failure. There used to be a lot more than that, guys, but CompTIA has knocked this way down. So, all right, so recovery time objective, and I'm just pretty much going from the book. The recovery time objective is the maximum amount of time an organization can be down due to a disaster or incident before bad things happen. All right, that's recovery time objective. Whereas there's a million ways to calculate it. I'm not going to sweat about that right now. Recovery point objective. Didn't we cover this on Monday a little bit?
You did.
Didn't we?
Just
right.
straight out.
So I'm not.
In fact, read from the book.
All right. So I'm reading from the book again here. This is literally cut and pasted. So the recovery point objective is also measured in time, but in the context of data. Basically, how many seconds, minutes, days worth of data can we lose before we're in a disastrous situation or suffer significant loss? That's all those mean.
Okay.
So mean time between failure is just the, come on, little computer. That's the average time a device or system runs before an unplanned failure. Most pieces of hardware, the manufacturers actually provide an MTBF that you can look at.
Right.
Mean time to repair is the average time needed to repair a device or system after an unplanned failure. So obviously this has to be a repairable device, because a lot of people, this is a David Mohan thing, I know he would do this to me because he's just smart. He's like, well, what about mean time
To recovery.
replace?
Oh.
So mean time to the only difference between mean time to repair versus mean time to replace is mean time to repair is a repairable device, whereas a mean time to replace is a field replaceable.
Gotcha.
Swap it out.
Yep.
Okay, and the last is going to be functional recovery plans. Now, so a functional recovery plan basically details how are we going to deal with this. So there's lots of these that are in here, but CompTIA only lists one. It's called disaster recovery, which we all know. I mean, disaster recovery is an important thing,
right.
But it's really part of business impact analysis. Now, there's people who will disagree with me on this, but
sure.
I'm comfortable with this, is that disaster recovery is part of business impact because,
You're planning for the stuff that's going to impact your business, and part of that is how are you going to recover from a disaster.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this is the only one that they do. So it's concerned with the practical and immediate activities following an event, right? So it's going to be saving lives, saving computers, the critical stuff, the hurricanes are coming, kind of thing, and moving to a recovery site, that type of stuff. So that's all there is.
Yeah. So that hurricane is a coming. We've officially entered hurricane season here in Houston. Joy.
Yeah.
At least we get
We got one in the Gulf right now.
We get a couple days warning, so not quite as bad as tornadoes in different parts of the world or other things. So, but yay, hurricane season is fun.
Yeah, absolutely. So hopefully that's Andrew. I hope it gives you kind of idea. I recognize that I have completely just reduced myself to reacting to known objectives from CompTIA. But the problem is business impact analysis is a massive topic, and there's certain times where I have to punt. And this is a great example. And I think I'm doing the right job for everybody by doing this.
Absolutely.
Yeah. It gets tricky because, I'm the one who wants to go into great detail, right?
Right. But you can't.
Well, I'll bore everybody. It'd just be me and Andrew Hutz, but everybody else is going to be like,
So, I assume we're jumping back to the questions. There are a couple of fun ones.
Hit me, baby, one more time.
Okay. No, it's a Steely Dan day.
No static at all. Hey, 19. That's Aretha Franklin. Steely Dan, right?
Right, sure.
We've got your moolies covered. You started it, man. I was fine.
Tullowitz started it. I didn't, okay?
Should have learned to play the guitar.
In 30,
I should have learned to... Okay, I'll stop.
I jumped all the way back to 253, which is when Mike started talking about business impact analysis.
I think that was pontification, young man, but we'll take it.
In 30, Ninja, I assume, I booked your CompTIA A+ book. Cannot wait to start. Get on it. Very exciting. Fun to do. Dave Rush reminds us to like and subscribe if you want to the channel. The liking helps boost. We don't monetize these AMAs. We just do them for fun because, right? But it does help other people in the future be able to find things on YouTube. So if you like the thing, and if you don't like it, don't like it. So there you go.
I see Nerf Oreos was asking about a Wisp router. Nerf Oreos, I'm doing Wisp on Monday. Okay.
Yeah, and Dave was like, threw all kinds of funny jokes in there and said, I could tell you, but
we would have to
tell you.
How do you say it? Most unpleasant.
David Mohan had a good question on attenuation. Dave Rush answered that while we were talking, so we're in good shape on that.
Oh my God, what did Dave Rush say to him? Dave Mohan, be careful about anything Dave Rush says.
Pretty straightforward.
Yep, he's got it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yep.
And David, if you have other questions and if you want to go into a little more detail, feel free to email Mike or ask a deeper question or a follow-up question, okay?
And why are we talking about Dirty Dancing?
We're talking about Dirty Dancing.
Because nobody puts baby in a corner.
Because nobody puts Mike in a corner.
Oh, somebody said that?
Yes.
That's hilarious.
And the funny part was, Alex actually said, I love Dirty Dancing. And the entire feed exploded because they're like, you've seen this movie? It's all good stuff.
256, Lemmy. Donnie34, Pixel, and I were wondering, do you prefer the title God King, Mike Meyers, or Lord and Savior? I'm not a very good Christian person, but I don't want to usurp those of faith, so I want to skip Lord and Savior. I prefer the omniscient overlord God King. And the more hyphens you use, the better.
Nice.
Who was that?
Oh, wait.
To see the lamentations of their women in...
Conan. What's best in life?
That's it.
To crush your enemies, to see them driven before you, and to hear the lamentations of the women.
And children, or something.
No, it's just straight up women.
I want children in there.
So OJH at 255. I passed A+ yesterday for my first IT certification. Thanks for the help, Mike.
Well done, OJH. Well done. Round of applause to you. Yep.
Awesome. Most people at this point were listening to you or talking about movies. and watermelon. It's watermelon season here in Texas, and my family and I have been chowing down on some very fine giant watermelon.
It is watermelon time in Texas, that's for sure. We eat a lot of watermelon down here.
And there, of course, the official title for Mike Meyers is
Alpha Geek.
Alpha
Trademark.
Geek. That's right. Oh, Teacher Russell must have showed up. John Lehman. Yes. Hey, good to see you. Adiva75 was asking about what's coming up, and that's when the Wisp thing appeared.
Okay.
Shilling ours.
That's us, John. Oh my God, I got to remember that. Total shillinars.
That's great.
That's hilarious. I love it.
Yep, that's awesome.
Allison Brown. I don't know who Allison Brown is. I just saw a name.
Well, okay, and Isaac Alexis. Does Mike like zombie games?
I like him to an extent, but there's a certain point.
Come on, Left 4 Dead?
Yeah, I liked them. I liked them. I don't know.
I guess it was more me and Michael Smyer and...
Yeah, we have Allison Brown. This is a new name. I have both A+ and Net+ textbooks from Mike Meyers. Great material for a new person like me in IT.
Awesome.
Good to have you on board, Allison. Osmeridium. Osmeridium.
Yeah, I think
Osmeridium. Hi, Mike. Have been taking your A+ course. Really enjoyable. You're a great teacher. Thanks, Oz. See, I can reduce anything to a...
Single syllable? Monosyllabic-ness?
You put the wrong emphasis on the wrong syllable. John Lehman pulling down 32K in Britain. Thanks to your efforts. Excellent.
Awesome. Good.
Yeah.
Okay. Osmeridium. I remember you talking about that time you visited a knock, and literally got taken down for reaching for a cable. Is there more to that story?
No. He was a very, very large man, and he had very many guns on him, and I was on the ground. Very quickly. And I'm just goofing. Yeah, I was. My hand wasn't even within 2 feet of that cable.
Right.
Yeah. I've had a gun. I forgot. So I've had a gun pulled on me 3 times by law enforcement.
Well, stop breaking the law, Mike.
I wasn't breaking the law any one of these times. Well, one time. But, yeah.
Okay.
Intergalactic Space King. I like the cut of your jib, David. Who is that Firebrand Smithers? Oh, that's Homer Simpson, sir. He's one of your worker drones from Section C.
Somebody blowing up at you.
Scott, can you talk for...
Yeah, I'll talk.
Please call me back. I'm in a... can call me back in an hour. Thank you. Bye.
John Lehman. Yeah, to see their packets driven to my sinkhole. If you say...
John, careful there, buddy. Careful there. PG. Keep it PG around here. You start getting Scott excited, and he's been married 31 years. Just stop.
Speaking of,
we're literally at the
speaking
edge of the abyss.
of birthdays.
Yes.
Today is Michael Smyers, not Mike Myers. Michael Smyers' actual birthday.
Oh, mazel tov.
So,
many happy returns, Michael.
Happy birthday, Michael. Okay, so here we go. David Mohan, starting the questions back up at 3:16. 3:16. If I missed your question, post it again. And did you want to do a contest or something today?
Yeah, we'll throw in a contest here. It was a 3:18. Let's do a couple more questions. We'll do a contest.
Okay, so 3:16, David Mohan asks, are there any security devices that can give false positives?
Is there any security device that cannot give a false positive?
Right.
David, I'd need more details on that, but in general, if you're talking about hardware monitoring devices or inline monitoring tools as security devices, programmable door locks can give you a false positive depending on what you're looking to do.
Yeah.
So the answer is yes.
So Tokyo Moon at 3:16, and this is a pretty standard Udemy question. Just bought your book and the Udemy course, and I'm having trouble with the order of the course, by which I am assuming that you're having trouble because we don't teach objective to objective, right? Mike's materials are done in the way we teach techs how to learn. And you start with certain aspects of hardware or software or both, and then talk about those, and then start layering things on top of those.
Even CompTIA will tell you, do not use objectives as a table of contents or as an order of learning. It doesn't work. CompTIA puts those objectives together to make them as compact as possible, not because of its proper instructional order. Go ahead, Scott. I'm sorry.
No, and that's good because Tokyo Moon ask some follow-up questions very specifically to that thing where Chapter 1 covers objectives 2.8 and 5.5. Yes. So we started doing all of this training stuff, just teaching techs how to be great techs. That's the whole goal, right? Just by the end of that teaching, you'll end up having enough knowledge to pass a certification exam and say, yeah, I am a great tech. Look at me here. But to teach the objectives by objective would require a level of repetitiveness that...
Yeah, we keep saying the same thing over and over again. It would be a bad way to do it.
Yeah. So that's why we teach the way we teach. And our materials are set up that way. We provide the roadmap so that in the back of the book, objective, not objective, what are those? Appendix. Appendix A, I think, is the actual map, so that you can see precisely.
You realize you do all this. I have no idea what any of this is.
I know. That's why I do
My life is good.
That's why
I've got a Scott. Everybody should have a Scott.
In appendix, I think it's Appendix A, is the actual map of the objectives to where it's covered by page in the book. So you can read the book, watch the videos, and then when you're ready to do round 2 in your studies, as if you're following the Mike Meyers way to do this, that is, then start going, what do I understand? Get some practice questions, whether they're ours or from one of our competitors or both, and then start taking those questions and have that map to be able to look up where that information is found in the book or in the videos.
I see we have a very important thing coming up. 3:17 p.m., Choco Taco. I want to hear Mike's criminal stories. I'll give you one real quick, okay? So this is back, let's just say I had hair, okay? And I had some friends who were working as basically technicians, just civilian technicians. These are very young guys too, who are working as technicians for a certain federal government that has government agency that has 3 letters and guns, okay? We'll leave it at that. Mm-hmm. And they were running the midnight till 8 in the morning shift. Someone's got to man the phones or, anything happens. So these 2 guys, and they call me up and they're like, hey, Mike, go buy a bunch of Kentucky Fried Chicken and come meet us and we'll just eat. I was like, okay, great. I was hungry. And this is back when I wore my big cowboy hat with the feathers. Remember that? With the feathers in it and the big cowboy boots and this corduroy jacket and Wranglers. And so I'm going up, and it looked like a scene from Get Smart, bum, ba-dum, bump, all the doors opening. So I get in here, and we're eating some chicken, and we're just talking, shooting the poop, right? We had 3 plates down and eating the chicken. All of a sudden, beep, beep, beep. And the other 2 guys are like, oh, my God, you have to hide now. And I'm like, why do I have to hide? There's 2 agents were coming off of a stakeout, and they weren't supposed to be coming in. They're like, go hide in the back someplace. So I go run. This is a really, really large room, like 120 feet by 40-foot room,
right,
with the columns in it. And I run towards the back, and I run into this room, and it's full of guns. It was the gun safe for these guys.
Gosh.
But I figured it's a good place to hide. So I'm hiding here, and all of a sudden you hear the 2 agents come walking in. Hey, guys, chicken. They're eating my damn chicken on that. So they're eating my chicken. Okay, we're just going to check in our guns, and we're going to go home. Y'all have a good night. Did I mention I had this cowboy hat on, and I had these big cowboy boots? Uh-huh. I got behind the door. I was this wide. I made it happen. Oh, my God. So here come the agents. Da-da-da-da.
You've never told me this story.
No?
No.
They found me.
Of course, they're
Boom,
agents.
bang, smack. The 2 technicians coming running back there. Nothing ever happened. It was a different time,
Of course.
Back then, it was, you did something wrong, you got slapped around a little bit, jacked up. Got to wear handcuffs for about 5 minutes. The 2 tech guys were yelled at. But that was the end of it. There's
right,
no reporting or anything like that. So yeah, I got slapped around pretty good. I deserved that one.
Wow.
Okay, well, the other one you might have more comment.
So more than one story.
Well, this is much more recent. Back when we were working for a certain government agency in Quantico, Virginia. Mm-hmm. And you did a lot of those classes. I only did a few. And so there's two internets, folks. So there's the one internet, which is the public internet, but there's another internet that's really more for government here in the U.S. for government agencies and stuff like that. They have their own little separate kind of internet. So, like if you have a printer, you have two printers, right? One's for the internal public network, one's for the super secret network. And they had two printers in this training room, right? And I'm just sitting here teaching, blah, 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 talking away, IRQs or whatever it was back then. And all of a sudden, this printer starts going off. Well, this is getting me mad because I'm trying to teach the class, right?
Yeah.
So I'm in there, and I'm banging on the printer and ripping on it, and all of a sudden, it was the secret one, and there was stuff about a case. I'm not reading this. I just wanted to shut up.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's bad.
It was this little gal. She was the security officer of the day. Pointed at me with a little 9mm. I'm like, I know how to use that better than you. Please put down the weapon. I won't touch anything. Yeah. So that's the 2 times I got jacked up by that particular agency. There, Choco Taco. There's a couple more stories. I have more, but I don't know how. Yeah.
Yeah, but we save it for Discord.
Yeah, we'll save it for Discord.
So, of course, Andrew Hutz points out that, Mike walks around with a DAuth attack watch.
Oh, that is
and
such a cool
expects us to believe law enforcement had no reason.
So I do have this DAuth watch, and it's absolutely fascinating.
Yeah?
It's brainless. So it's kind of like a scan. Okay, what do you want to scan? You want to scan stations, APs, or both, right? Mm-hmm. Beep! Or SSIDs. Go straight for SSIDs. And so I did that, and then I did so after it scans, it goes, well, here's what I found. Which one do you want me to DAuth? And you can literally scroll through and pick which SSID you want to do a DAuth on. Okay, I'll do this one. Beep! And it's like, here's the password. It's like, are you kidding me? It's like completely mindless. It's dangerously powerful tool.
That's awesome. All right, so we're at 317, and it is actually 327. Perhaps you would like to do a question.
Yeah. Let's do a competition.
And I'll pop back up to 317 when we're done with the competition.
All right, you guys. So here's the deal on the competition. Rule number 1, these competitions are not fair. All right, I try to make them as fair as I can, but I can't. So what we're going to do here, in a second, I'm going to post up a multiple choice question, and you answer it. Do not just write down A, B, C, or D. Write down the answer, or at least enough of the answer so I know what you're talking about. Okay? So if you write A, B, C, or D, that's not going to do any good. So the first person who answers wins. How do we trick David? He's too good. I mean,
well, at this point, he's won, what, 3 times?
I'm telling you, the dude's hungry, man. He's going to go for more. See, there he is.
He's already got port 4. How did you know it was a port?
Port 443. David Mohan's the winner yet again. Okay, now, so we're actually going to do A+.
Okay, all right, sounds good.
I thought it'd be fun. I haven't done A+ for a while, mainly because...
Did you tell them what they're going to win?
Oh, so yes, and what we're competing for is free 90-day access to whatever practice questions Total Seminars sells, free. And so all you have to do is be the first person to win. You ready?
And the key is the first person with the correct answer that shows up on my screen.
It shows up on Scott's screen. Do we sign a paper? Is it included?
No, there's a question up earlier.
Oh, I thought he was referencing the test.
No,
that's
no. It would have been funnier.
Funnier.
Yeah.
All right, still good.
So if you want to play, and here I'm looking at you, David, but don't want to win, right? Just doing it for bragging rights. Just type your answer and put the word pass at the end.
Look, man, if David wants it, then if David wants to go for 4 for 4, then you go, man.
You heard it from the Alpha Geek.
Yeah, it's
all right, so let's do this. So just type pass if you want to pass. If not,
yeah, so type your answer and then type pass if you want to pass. Otherwise, you're in. All right, you guys ready? Here it is. This is an A+ question.
We are totally ready.
I don't know what button you're heading over towards there, but this is the button we want to press. It's right here. There we go. Okay. You have a set of DVDs that have backup files with customer data on them. How do you want to dispose these? Okay. Shredding, trashing, wiping, and pulping. Let's see what anybody says. John Lehman, 5 gigabits, pass. He's funny.
Yep.
Oh, was this was just too easy.
It was too easy. Well, most of these guys are
All right. Well,
They're already on Net Plus
you
and
know
Security
what?
Plus.
Let's go ahead and do this one.
Okay.
But I think we probably need to do another one. All right, guys, I'm pretty sure the answer is going to be A, shredding. By the way, guys, this is the actual test interface that we use here at Total Seminars. Let's click on the assistance window. Answer explanation. A is correct. Yep, A is shredding. Scott?
Who's our winner today?
Who's our winner today is Andrew Hutz.
Andrew Hutz.
Came in quite a bit, like at least a 100th of a second.
Andrew, do you really want this one, buddy? Let's see.
Probably does, actually.
Does he?
Yeah.
No, Choco Taco passed.
No, he passed. Okay. Nailed it. Passed. All right.
So
the next
there's
person.
an FNG, a new person. Nameless.
Nameless.
Cool. All right. Nameless. Congratulations to you, sir. You,
Or ma'am.
Or ma'am, or miss, or, oh, God. I am not designed for today's
He,
universe.
she, them, they. Come on.
What was the name again?
Nameless.
Nameless.
What a setup.
Have some more coffee. Anyway, Nameless, ma'am. Thank you, Nameless. Nameless, congratulations. You are the winner. In order to claim your prize, here's what you got to do. So, Nameless, what you got to do is send an email to kathy@totalsem.com. In this email, first of all, put your YouTube name, which is Nameless. And then secondarily, put which practice exam you wish to have. A+, Net Plus, Security Plus. We even have others too, but most people tend to want to zero in on those. So, Nameless, congratulations. Well done. Let's do it again. That question was way too easy.
It was easy, but it gave Nameless a chance to jump in there, pop it.
She was in there, man.
She was in there and got her some practice questions.
I'm going to do
and that's awesome. While Mike is looking for a question.
Yeah, go ahead. I got it.
Anthony Flores.
That one was too easy.
Yeah, Anthony Flores has asked this question a couple times. I did see it earlier in the feed and was going to go back to it, but since you asked again, I'll answer it now. The question is, if you go into IT certification and you went straight to Net Plus and skipped A+, why? Here's my answer and why I've seen a lot of people do it. And that is, there are some of us who really like working on machines. Right? I love building PCs and playing with stuff and adding RAM and doing CPUs and all that crazy stuff. I like the tactile aspect of computing. You don't need that for Network Plus. You really don't. I mean, you need to have a screwdriver and how to install a server into a rack, but you don't have to build machines from scratch. And so if that's not your focus and you don't want to do that screwdriver tech stuff, but want to just go into, I know I want to be a network tech or I want to go into a network administration, then skipping the Network Plus is perfectly a legitimate course. I wouldn't skip Network Plus, regardless of what else you take after that. Net Plus is kind of the foundation of modern interconnected computing. So Net Plus is a good place to start.
Let's do it again.
Let's do it again.
All right. So I'm gonna do Security Plus this time.
No.
I think I did Security Plus last time. I didn't mean to. Oh well, whatever. All right. So you guys ready? Let's do one more. Here we go. Same rules as last time. We're competing for 90-day free access to the Mike Meyers practice questions of your choice. Strong authentication methods typically utilize a combination of different factors, including something the user knows, something the user has in his possession, something that is a unique aspect of the user. Which of the following authentication methods is considered something the user has? Wow, everybody's answering. Total bit TPM. It's better than saying TPS. I've got 8 bosses, Bob. All right. Here, Scott, I'm going to quiz you. I'm going to put you on. Which one do you think it is?
Well, I have a fingerprint.
Well, that's a unique aspect of it.
I'm kidding. Access card.
Pretty sure it's access card. Yeah, C is correct. Okay. So it's an access card, which makes sense if you think about it. It's something the user has. So a fingerprint is something that's unique about you.
Sure.
And then a
biometrics.
a PIN number is something you know.
Right.
And user ID password is also something you know. So.
Right.
All right. So who do we got?
Well, Andrew,
Access card.
Andrew Hutz again came in first because he's rocking it. And Andrew, if you want to win this time, let me know. That would be you typing yes or no.
Yeah, Andrew, we're waiting for you, man.
Because I can't go on if you don't tell me. Oh yeah, right?
He's
That's
just
exactly
flexing.
right. Well
welcome,
done.
Welcome to the gun show, baby.
Yep, that was awesome. We're way up here.
Oh my goodness, a lot
Yeah.
of people answered this one. It's Nameless, man. Gotta give it to her.
Nameless again.
Nameless, you're 2 for 2. So first of all, Nameless, do you want this?
Do you want to win twice?
So Nameless, we're going to stop for a minute. I want to see what you type in. Do you want this? You are welcome to it. You have won fair and square. See, this is why Nameless has that.
Okay, Nameless. She already won, so she's going to pass it on.
All right. Who's next?
And
then?
so she's going to
Thank
pass
you, Nameless.
She's going to pass it on to Nerf Oreos.
Nerf Oreos. All right, Nerf Oreos. I don't think he's won before, has he?
I don't think so.
All right. Nerf Oreos, we're assuming you want the prize, man. Let's see what he says. And David Mohan wants Net Plus questions next time. Just for you, my friend, we'll do that. Yep, Nerf Oreos is the winner. Okay, Nerf Oreos, in order to collect your prize, Nerf Oreos, you need to send an email to kathy@total7.com. Make sure to include your YouTube name, Nerf Oreos needs to be in there, and let Kathy know which practice exam you wish to have, okay? And you will get your prize. I'm hoping, has anybody else been complaining that Kathy has not?
She won on vacation.
I knew she was on vacation, but now that
put
she's
her back.
back.
Right. And then the school year ended. So a bunch of people just flooded in because they were like, okay, we're ready to start prepping for the fall.
Right.
And she just got super, super busy.
Okay.
So she should be caught up at this point. She had a little trouble with Kim Jong-oof because it went to her spam.
Oopsies.
Oops. So had a little trouble tracking him down, but finally got that.
David Mohan, put a tracker on Kathy. No kidding there, man. We've thought about it, dude.
Awesome. But you should, so Kathy may take a few days to get back with you. If you don't hear from her in a week, email me directly, and that's me, not Mike, at scottj@totalsim.com, and just tell me your name, your username, and when you won, and I'll follow up with Kathy. I can just drive to her house and go, hey, Kathy. Right.
Yeah, guys, it is. We're a little mom and pop organization. It is completely okay to be a little bit of a squeaky wheel here. So if you have to respond to Kathy 2 or 3 times, I apologize that we're not able to keep up with the prizes as best we could. But please, 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 you've won them fair and square. Stay on top of that.
So David Mohan, Security Plus, yes. The 501 exam expires the end of July. So if you are currently working for your Security Plus certification, jump on it, right? Don't wait around here because you're almost out of time. John Lehman has asked a couple of times, would you mind talking me through an NDA as the industry denotes it? Does someone have to physically sign a paper as part of it?
Yes. All NDAs are signed by somebody. Usually NDAs are signed by literally every party who could be affected by the NDA. That doesn't necessarily mean it's a physical piece of paper. Digital signatures are very common today, but there is a signature involved. And if I were to say if there was one thing that is still aggressively supported legally, it's NDAs.
Yeah.
Like if you blow through an NDA, whatever it is, I don't think you go to jail for them. It's a civil thing, but
Yeah.
You can get a fine, or more importantly, they won't play with you anymore.
Right. So, for example, when CompTIA sent us the Network Plus N10008 objectives, well before they released them to the public, we had to sign an NDA saying we wouldn't tell you guys what's on them. Isn't that cool?
But keep in mind, an NDA is going to look very, very different depending on what you're being, not what you're not supposed to be disclosing, right? NDA. And just go online, just Google NDA boilerplate, and you'll come up with lots of examples of NDAs, but they can be very, very different depending on what they're trying to keep secret. Mm-hmm. So there isn't just one NDA out there, or one type.
Exactly. Yes, Kevin, unless, of course, we signed the NDA at the point of a gun, yes.
Gave an offer he couldn't refuse.
Hey!
What do we got, man?
Okay, so at 3:37, Syed Hussein. Hello, sir. I recently passed the CompTIA A+ exam. Thank you. Preparing for Network Plus now. That's awesome, Syed.
Well done, Syed. And welcome aboard, man. Did you answer David Mohan's question about Security Plus?
Yes.
Okay.
Many people have answered, including me. Adiva75 says, do we do these questions stuff regularly?
You mean competitions?
Or asking and answering questions. We do that all the time.
We do that constantly, man. But
giveaways, usually on the Monday, Wednesday show. We'll do a couple of giveaways. The Friday drama, not so much. Sometimes we have given stuff away in the past, but usually it's the Monday, Wednesday show.
Told it, Timex Sinclair 1000. Where does he
get the?
I actually own a Timex Sinclair 1000.
Really?
I do.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
No, I mean really. Okay, so I'm skipping back in time here to 3:33. Allison Brown asks, for a new person entering IT and interested in cybersecurity and networking, after obtaining A+, Network Plus, and Security Plus, is CCNA or Linux Plus the next best step? Hold on. Soapbox on.
Where are your passions, Allison? I mean, any of those could be the right answer. The only thing that CompTIA certifications do for you, the holy trinity of A+, Net Plus, Security Plus, is that at least begins to give you an idea of the breadth of this industry, to give you an opportunity to think about what you like from there. You're going into CCNA because you find Cisco important. You're going to go to Linux Plus because you find Linux important. Allison, I cannot and will not answer that question. Those are both excellent routes to take, but why don't you do what you like? I mean, I do.
And the other option would be neither of those, and going into AWS or Azure certifications, because you want a job in cloud implementation or security.
Looking at Microsoft certifications, you want to become an administrator for a network.
Yeah, so they're all valid. Totally doing the what's the triad, right? No, what's it called?
I said Holy Trinity. But
I know, but that's not right.
That's not PC.
No, it's not.
Is there anything about me that's PC?
No, not much, Mike. But that's okay.
My personal computer.
He just pointed to his phone, by the way.
No, I was pointing at my Altoids.
The trifecta, thank you, Dave. The trifecta of A+, Net Plus, and Security Plus, as Mike mentioned, will give you kind of the foundational thing of every IT certification that you can build on. So where you go from there depends on what kind of job you're looking for. Oftentimes, if the job says, we're looking for network administrators, we'll take an entry-level person for this, then you're like, oh, I'm in a Microsoft shop, therefore I'm going to get some Microsoft certifications after I get my job to be able to then advance more in the company. Same thing if it's a Cisco company. Then getting Cisco certifications to further your career is a good way to do it.
We're looking for more questions here.
Nameless. I love the contest. They're super fun. They are fun. We certainly have a lot of fun with them too.
Visal Sanjeevi. Any rules for answering these questions? The only rule is there are no rules. Vishal, we're just having fun, man.
Absolutely. Okay.
Have you ever been, like, when we've done one of these, and it's like, please, I don't want any more questions because my rear end hurts from these painful stools we're sitting
Yeah, see,
on?
Mike Meyers refuses to buy me good furniture. He's making me sit on a hard wooden stool. It's like I feel like when I was in grad school, my mentor was a former monk. No joke. That's what I feel like right now, after 2 hours sitting on this very hard wooden stool, a monk doing penance.
So Nerf Oreo said this last, just unplug the damn thing. What is he talking about?
What?
Right here. People are already saying thanks for the stream. People are leaving.
You're leaving us? Okay, here we go.
You can't leave, all the plants will die.
Stripes reference. Okay, so Appalachia, Whiteside at 3:45. Oh, goodness, we're right at the end of the whole thing here. I hope this question doesn't sound stupid. I'm sure it won't. But I'm getting into IT and was wondering, after getting my CompTIA Plus, do I need to get my... Oh, okay, this...
I understand the question.
Yeah, are you going from A plus straight to Security Plus and skipping Net Plus?
Appalachia, you don't have to get any certifications. I mean, you know, remember, our goal here is to secure careers, right? And like I just hollered at a few moments ago, find where your passions are. If you don't know where you want to be, you probably ought to consider the CompTIA A plus, the CompTIA Network Plus. I'm not even a huge fan of Security Plus. I mean, we wrote the book, but that doesn't mean
I'm a huge fan of Security Plus.
That's not what I mean. I think it's a fine certification, but not everybody needs to be in security. Right.
No,
that's all
totally.
I'm trying to say there.
Network Plus has a lot of security in it as well. So
and A plus does now too.
Yeah,
If you think about it.
It's true.
So I would say A plus, Network Plus. We know a lot of people who do A plus and go right into Security Plus, and I'm not sure that that's a great idea, but they've been successful. You know, I guess if you're a good studier, I just invented that word. If you're a good student.
Yeah, that'd be a better word.
There we go.
Yeah.
Okay.
So at 3:46, Anthony Flores asks, how long would it take to understand and study for Network Plus and Security Plus individually? So at the beginning of every one of Mike's certification-oriented books, in the introduction, is a chart that says, what's your incoming knowledge level? And here's a list. If you have some knowledge, a lot of knowledge, whatever, and it lists a whole bunch of different skill sets for A+, Network Plus, Security Plus. And depending on your skill level, you'll just kind of go through that little chart, mapping out how many hours it'll take you on average to study. And because every individual is different, Mike makes these charts to individualize your path to study and how long it's going to take.
Perfect.
Thank you.
Harumph.
Harumph, harumph.
Harumph.
So there
Allison
you go.
Brown, AWS interests me. Allison, that's a great way to start.
And it should. AWS is like the 800-pound gorilla of cloud computing right now. It's huge. And I don't see it going anywhere except for maybe into outer space. Oh, that's just Jeff Bezos.
What is going on here?
I don't know. What are you doing? What have you done, Mike? What have you done?
I broke it again.
Oh, okay, we're running towards the end. Let me tell you about what's happening on Friday. Friday is at 2 p.m. to 4 p.m. Central Daylight Savings Time. Dave Rush has an Ask Me Anything called Drama. Get it? Dave Rush, Ask Me Anything. You got it?
I'm there. Inside, I'm laughing. Inside.
Drama on Friday, which is awesome. Dave is senior instructor for Total Seminars and a brilliant tech and network guy. He uses the Raspberry Pi, which is an amazing, inexpensive, Linux-based system on a chip computer, as kind of the basis for the Friday sessions. But it's all about Linux and some about the very cool things you can do on the Raspberry Pi uniquely. This Friday, Dave is going to do, okay, Teams is not supposed to super scroll. Good Lord. Doing cameras on the Raspberry Pi, shooting stills, capturing video. The Raspberry Pi is like a $40 full-blown computer that runs Linux, right? It's the real deal. And you can set this up as a security resource and everything else. So Dave, Friday session will be cool. It'll be fun. Be there. 2 p.m. Total Seminars channel.
3:48 p.m. Rahul Mitra. Are you guys active on Twitter? I am not. I don't like Twitter. It doesn't give me enough space to say what I want to say. I'm not a Twitter person. Is that important? Should I be active on Twitter? Yeah, like more social media?
More social media. Ask Mike about Facebook next.
No. Facebook. Satan. Is Cloud Plus worth it? I'm not so sure Cloud Plus is worth it. It's got some traction out there, but a lot of people tend to go straight into any one of the cloud platforms directly, AWS or Azure or whatever you want to do. That was Allison Brown at 3:49.
Okay.
All right, guys. David Mohan, how many hats do you have?
Oof.
I have many hats.
And he wears many hats. Oh, wait, that's me. No, that's Michael Smyer.
Yeah. He just needs, yeah. All right, guys, let's go ahead and wrap it up for the day. Don't forget to get on the Discord. I'm going to jump on for a while. You going to jump on today?
Sure, I'll jump on.
All right. I'm going to get a little more coffee.
Dave Rush will post the Discord, the link.
He just did it, 3:49.
At 3:49, Dave Rush posted the
2
list,
minutes ago.
the link to the unofficial Total Seminars Discord channel. Warn you now that it's a little saltier than it is here, or can be. But bring your camera and your microphone, and that way we can see you and talk directly. It'll be very fun. So join us on Discord right after the AMA.
So let's blow this pop stand, man.
Okay, help
Ready?
me. I post my little thing here.
What? Okay. That's it.
That was it. Yeah.
All right, guys. For those of you joining up on Discord, whoever wants, look, don't forget to, if you really want me to play Counter-Strike, I'll play Counter-Strike. Go. Hit me up on Steam. We can do that. I'm Senor Pepe. Other than that, we'll see you guys on Monday where we're going to be doing
Wisp.
We're doing Wisp. I'm just having fun. My problem is I can't find a Wisp server. I can find Wisp-capable routers.
We'll deal with that over the weekend.
Yeah, and it might end up having to do Wisp through interpretive dance, but wouldn't be the first time.
Sock puppets, finger puppets.
All right, let's get out of here, Scott.
All right, here we go.
All right, folks, we'll see y'all later. Until then, later. Bye-bye.
Now it's the awkward stare. You're welcome, Patricia.
See, they don't hear any of this. It's rather the delay.